surprised by the white goose farm in South Korea, providing tons of meat in a critical situation. These giant white geese with silky feathers are not just kept as pets. They are a major source of meat, contributing significantly to the growing livestock industry in South Korea. Foie gras and roast goose, once a luxury item, have become an important food reserve. So how do these farmers work, and why is this livestock industry so important? Find out in today's video. Geese are always considered noisy, especially during the breeding season. Statistics in 2021 showed that the world's goose production reached more than 4 million tons, and with China accounted for 98.76%. However, few people know that South Korea has also large-scale goose farms, providing tons of meat every year. Although not as large as China, South Korea also owns many goose farms with significant output. With its large size and delicious taste, goose meat has become a popular choice for consumers. In the context of tensions between South Korea and North Korea, goose meat can become an important food reserve. It is undeniable that the goose farming industry is bringing positive values to this country. Usually, goose farms will be built next to ponds and lakes to ensure the most suitable living environments. Goose farms are not too complicated. Farmers only need to build a net system around the farming area. In addition, it is possible to build a roof for the geese so they have shelter when it rains, is sunny, or when breeding. Although the species of goose has a rather aggressive personality, they have the habit of following their owners. This is very special, isn't it? In some places, geese are also raised as pets to guard houses. Geese can live up to 50 years and breed for about 5 to 16 years. However, with geese raised for meat, farmers only need to raise them for 8 to 9 weeks, when they reach a weight of about 9 pounds. Typically, peak egg-laying season is in the spring, with most geese laying a clutch of 10 to 15 eggs. Geese can breed naturally or incubated artificially, with an incubation period of about 30 days. Geese like rugged and prefer to live in places with water. Raising geese requires large spaces, fenced pastures, and close to water sources. Some farms use gardens to raise geese, ensuring both shade and ventilation. Despite their thick feathers, geese have poor thermal regulation, so it is necessary to maintain a stable temperature for goslings. If the temperature fluctuates sharply between day and night, the risk of goslings dying is very high, so it is necessary to maintain the temperature between 26 to 32 degrees Celsius. Korean farmers' goose crops are always designed to balance temperature and have good ventilation. When raising geese, flock density is also an important factor. If the density is too high, the goslings will certainly not have enough oxygen to breathe. Therefore, a spacious coop and suitable density will reduce the risk of geese dying. Besides, if the flock is too large, the risk of goslings starving to death is entirely possible. Disinfection and humidity control in the goose coop are also carried out regularly. This is the best way to prevent the spread of diseases that can cause mass geese deaths. In particular, Goose Farms will vaccinate goslings 3 to 5 days after hatching for the most effective disease prevention. Let's take a look at the production process and why white goose meat has become the top choice in Korean cuisine. Goose meat is even more highly valued than chicken or duck. Koreans often use goose meat to prepare some traditional dishes, not only meeting domestic consumption needs. Goose products in Korea are also exported to markets such as Vietnam, Hong Kong and Singapore. In addition to meat, goose eggs are also highly valued for their nutritional value and flavor. In addition to goose meat production, these farms also earn additional income for collecting goose feathers. Goose feathers are light and soft, have good insulation properties, and are very popular. The value of goose feathers can be twice as high as duck feathers. But if the quality is high, the price can increase 10 times. Goose feathers products such as blankets and coats are still sought after by many people. In the context of conflict, food production becomes especially important. Farmers must adopt and find ways to maintain production in difficult situations. Promoting food production and reserves is extremely necessary. The goose farming industry also faces many challenges such as epidemics, climate change and food quality requirements. Farmers are applying modern technology and suitable farming methods to improve efficiency and protect the environment. Despite many difficulties, Korean goose farms are still making positive changes. Innovations in agriculture will help them maintain production and provide food for the people.
Australia is one of the world's largest exporters of sheep, accounting for about 57% of global sheep production and 92% of global adult sheep production. Sheep farms here can stretch for tens of thousands of square kilometers, bringing huge revenue to farmers. So, what has driven the growth of the Australian sheep industry, and how can farms maximize profits? Take a look at some of the most modern sheep farms in this video to find out. Australia's sheep industry is one of the largest agricultural economies and has a long history spanning over 200 years. It plays a vital role in supplying high-quality meat and wool to the global market. Today, there are around 79 million sheep on huge farms, many of which cover tens of thousands of hectares. The most common fallow areas are New South Wales, 38%, Victoria, 21%, Western Australia, 18%, and South Australia, 15%. The most typical example of a modern sheep farm model is Rawlinna, Australia's largest sheep farm. This farm has an area of 1,011,714 hectares, almost the same area as Sydney. In addition, there are hundreds of other farms that are smaller in scale, but still extremely large and modern. It can be seen that the scale of sheep farms in Australia is extremely large. Sheep farms in Australia mainly raise the famous Merino sheep breed, with high-quality, smooth and soft wool products, mainly serving the textile industry. Merino sheep not only have good wool quality, but also have the ability to adapt well to harsh climates, helping to improve productivity and product quality. In addition, Donnay and Paul Dorset sheep are also raised for meat and meet the large export demand. Lambs are carefully cared for after birth with a suitable diet, including mother's milk and supplementary feed. After a few months, they begin to graze on large pastures and are monitored through modern equipment. When the sheep reach optimal weight or have long enough wool, they will be sheared or sold for meat. To be able to operate large sheep farms, farmers must apply modern technology and the most optimal management methods. Systems such as remote cameras and automatic watering can significantly save time and labor costs. At the same time, electronic identification systems help monitor the health and productivity of sheep, improving data accuracy. The use of data management software also makes it easier for farm owners to track pedigrees and profits from ewes. Thanks to supporting equipment and technology, farmers no longer have to travel hundreds of kilometers to check their flocks. Thus, they have succeeded in reducing the number of workers needed, thereby reducing farm operating costs. This not only brings high economic efficiency, but also promotes sustainable development for the sheep farming industry in Australia. In addition to modern technology, one of the factors that helps the sheep farming industry in Australia bring high profits is optimizing the size of the sheep herd. With the same number of workers, but in Australia, farms increase the size of their sheep herds, thereby bringing higher profits. According to statistics, Australian sheep farms produce 5 to 10 times more meat per hour of work than the rest of the world. Therefore, although labor costs are 10 times higher than in China, Africa, or South America, and twice as high as in New Zealand and European countries, they are still highly profitable. In addition, the construction of mixed sheep farms combined with crop farms helps to take advantage of feed sources from crops. This is an effective solution to save on the cost of buying feed for sheep. Therefore, Australia has become one of the countries producing sheep with the lowest cost in the world, lower than the global average of $428 per 100 kilogram live weight. The majority of Australian sheep is exported to overseas markets, most notably China, Europe, and the United States, generating a significant amount of revenue for the livestock industry. According to the latest figures, the value of exports in 2023 to 2024 is a record $5.1 trillion, which is a huge number. Despite the large-scale sheep farming, Australian farmers are also committed to producing sheep sustainably. Efforts to maintain land, vegetation, and reduce emissions are essential. Each year, livestock farmers, especially sheep farmers, invest more than $13 million in research to reduce the impact of the industry on the environment. Practical actions are being taken to improve environmental sustainability, such as installing solar panels, fencing to increase biodiversity, etc. These efforts not only bring economic benefits, but also create a better living environment for sheep. With recent climate change, global competition, and market issues, the revenue of the Australian sheep industry is forecast to decrease by about 2.6% by 2024. However, with efficient and sustainable farming models, Australia will still be the world's largest supplier of sheep meat and wool.